just drop your name and the topic that you wanted to discuss first up. We'll make sure you can go first. And then we'll get going in about 3 minutes. The foundation will have some updates, announcements from this week. We'll then have thanks Steph, thanks Doug for dropping it in. We'll have a quick overview of the roadmap. We'll have some accountability updates, and then we will jump into name topics. So we already have a few. That's awesome. And we'll get going in 2 or 3 minutes.
GM.
Titan. Hello. How are we doing?
Doing well, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes. It's great to be here. Just hanging out.
Do you have a name and topic for today, my friend?
Nothing in particular. Just messing around with Sarah and kind of just finding out how it fits onto displaying it across the rest of the network. And just also just doing more market research on live streaming agents to see where it is. And Twitch seems to be getting some traction, funny enough, which is very interesting. And like Pump is dead, and there's a bunch of other agent live streaming platforms that are coming out. So I don't know, just more market research and hanging out.
Awesome. Well, great to see you back here. Just drop name and topic in the chat if you want. We're doing it this way from now. So looking forward to hearing more about that. Sean, I presume you have a name and topic as well that you want to get to?
Hey, how's it going? Wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I never know which device is working. Yeah, sure. My name is Sean. The topic is around some of the pilot / starting to go into market that we're doing at the end of the month. So just wanted to share some stuff. And then I had some logistical questions about inference, especially this new live peer inference versus like run pod for deployment of API with a lot of the real time. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Great. Well, just drop name and topic in the chat. Maybe someone can point everyone else in the right direction. I can see we've got Steph, name and topic. We have Doug, name and topic, and Define. So just drop it in and we'll get to you. It looks like we have a busy day. We have Mike, fantastic. Good to get Luthor in there as well. We'll give it 30 more seconds and then we'll get going. Alrighty, I think we have about 8 name and topics, which is great. So I'm going to be a bit stricter today. The rules are that we'll have 5 minutes to present the topic, and then we'll try and keep to like 5 minutes of discussion after. If we do have to go over because discussion is great, then let's do it, but let's just stick to 5 minutes to presenting. Alrighty, I'm going to kick things off by just going through the right screen. Here we go. Can everyone see my screen? Give me someone call out because I can't see anything.
Yes.
Hey, Rich. Yep. We can see it.
Fantastic. Cheers. Great. So my name's Rich, and I'm Executive Co-Director at the Lightbeer Foundation. Welcome everyone to Watercooler. So to kick things off, we just got some announcements from this week. A big shout out to Steph and team for getting the Q1 Masari report that went live for Lightbeer. I think it was about mid last week. So check out. Maybe someone could drop it in the chat. The second thing is that the network engineering SP has passed. We'll hear more about that in a minute. Third thing, there's been a great Daydream update, which I think, I know that Doug posted, and I think Ryan's going to be giving a quick update on today, which is exciting to see that live. Number 4, Explorer RFP is likely to be posted this week, and I'll come on to that in a minute. And then the final thing is there's a Python SDK roadmap session also held this week. Sounds like there are plenty more announcements than that, and just in the future, what I would say is if there is something particularly important to get or a particular milestone, just drop it to me before the water cooler, and I'll make sure it's included in this slide. Awesome. So to kick things off with the suggestions pipeline, as I think everyone who is familiar by now, the suggestion pipeline works where anyone from the community can suggest a specific topic as it relates to Lightbeer that they think should be added onto the roadmap. The specific suggestion is then submitted. It's primarily focused on the problem, and then there's usually a community discussion held on this in a feedback session, which usually I lead as someone from the foundation facilitates. If there is there's enough signal, that specific suggestion then gets promoted to the roadmap. So we've already had this with 4 different items that have been suggestions that have been promoted to the roadmap. And what's moved this week? So first of all, the Explorer RFP will go live later this week, and that's been promoted. We had the feedback session, I think, 2 weeks ago now, which was really fruitful. So more on that probably coming on Wednesday. And then there have been 2 new suggestions added to the pipeline. So first of all, we have the pipeline SDK. Sorry, that is a typo. Python SDK is what it's meant to be. And Rick is going to be talking more about that, I think, in the name and topic, which is exciting. And the plan is to do a feedback session on Wednesday. And then the other one is there's been a new suggestion put forward by Doug on the role of the orchestrators. I think this is not a discussion for this week, but maybe just to socialize, and maybe Doug, you can give a brief update on the CTA for people on that during your name and topic. But no feedback session this week. Awesome. Next up on the accountability updates, there was a big update last week, so this week is very, very light. All I would say is that the network engineering SP has passed. Brad and Jason, who are 2 orchestrators who've been around for donkeys, I don't know if you're on the call, they've joined the review team for RFPs and grants, which is fantastic. That then has Brad, Jason, and Rick, who are the review team, the council that makes decisions on the different RFPs and grants. And over the next week, the plan is to launch 2 programs. One will be the RFP program, which is primarily focused on proactively funding initiatives over a 2 to 8 week period. And the other is retroactive grants, any useful work that has an impact on the network. You can then apply to be retroactively funded. More on that next week. I think my dad and Jason are going to give an update. And then the second thing is a sort of pseudo update, just that the protocol R&D SP is nearing completion. I think retro is inbound in either next week or the following weeks in the near future, and that includes an update on the bug bounty program. But pseudo update that's coming very soon. I think that's it. Let's maybe immediately jump to name and topic, because I know there's a lot to get through. I'm going to let, Steph, if you don't mind, I'm going to let Ryan go first, just because I know that there's a tight deadline here. So I can see Doug on stage, but yeah, Ryan, if you want to come up as well, we'll go that. Cool, yeah, while Ryan's popping on, I can sort of tee this up. Last week, I gave a little bit of a daydream and non-pairing product update here on the call, where I talked about the latest stuff to ship in Scope and gave a little video preview of some cool real-time AI audio generation on top of ACE-Step. But today, I would like to invite the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan on the inside, who is the researcher and engineer who's done some incredible work to get the latest music generation models running in real time, to show off what the awesome stuff he's been building so you can see it live and to answer some questions. So Ryan, I see you made it up on stage. You passed step 1. Step 2 is, can we actually hear you? Step 3 is, can you actually screen share?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. One more step. Can you hear my screen?
No.
Oh, no.
That's going to be pretty critical.
Yeah, super critical. Let me see. Share stream audio. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Oh, let's go. All right. 4 for 4. All right.
Now it's gone. But now it's gone. We heard it.
Yeah, I turned it off. I paused it.
All good. All right, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, thanks, Doug. So, really quick, I'll describe what we have here. I'll demo it and then take some questions. I guess will be the. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with stream diffusion. So basically, what I've done here is taken the latest and greatest open source music generation model and basically made stream diffusion for audio. So we have real-time interactive music generation. The diffusion loop is now so fast that it becomes a control surface and you can sort of play it like an instrument. So the headline numbers are that we've got parameter update convergence of around 81 milliseconds. So you turn a knob and then you hear it in about 81 milliseconds. You can compare this to Google's flagship real-time audio model. It's called Magenta, also known as Lyria. Their parameter update convergence is 2,000 milliseconds. So, and it's because it's an autoregressive model. It's just their choice of model there makes it impossible to. But this is important. So it's one of the things that it really shows what's lacking in an autoregressive model for audio. It's like it's an inherently real-time activity. So you need to feel the update immediately. And when you do, you have something, what we have here, when it's truly interactive, you have something that is really, really fun. So early feedback is that it's a total time vortex and like addictive to use, which is great because it requires an active GPU session to use. We're targeting like 5090s, but it's been validated 3090 and 4090 as well. We're compute bound, so the performance is much better on Blackwell, but it does work on other cards. So I'm going to show you this little web app here, which will be our first thing that we release for validation, but we plan to have a VST, which is a plugin for digital audio workstations like Cubase and Pro Tools, and then depending on how that goes, maybe a phone app, etc., other stuff. So yeah, let me demo it, and then I'll talk about Scope and its usage on the network. So we're remixing an input song in real time. So when I play this, you're going to hear the unadulterated input, and then I will mess with it in real time.
Again, this is the unadulterated input here, and then this is what we end up with.
And Ryan, just because the text in the screen share comes across a little small, what are some of the inputs that you're actually like turning up and down? Like, are they lures? Are they prompts? Are they parameters of music?
Great question. So it's one of the principal ones is fade is the denoise level. Any of you familiar with like stable diffusion? So like schedule truncation, and it's basically how much of the input song am I allowing through, or how strong is the remix. Then there's also you can think of them as control nets and IP adapters here. There's a structure reference, so you can use the structure of the input song to guide the generation. So I'm messing with the strength of that. And everything's like mixed and matched. And so unlike Lyria by Google, one of the advantages that we have here is like a huge number of knobs to turn, which is sort of my philosophy. I'm a musician, so the fact that AI makes better music than me now is like such a bummer. But if I can, if we put enough knobs on it, then we can bring craftsmanship back to the AI music process, which is something that I'm personally interested in doing. So yeah, all sorts of things like the strength of the remix, to answer your question, Doug, the strength of the remix, the strength of the structural guidance from the input song or a reference track, the characteristics of the input track or a reference track, all sorts of latent channel things and other research artifacts that I have come up with. So you may have noticed that I am not demoing this to you in scope, and that is something we're doing in the future. The engine that I've designed here is really a perfect use case for scope. We're just like a node interface would be ideal for what I've built here. So as soon as we get this validated, we'll follow through with the scope plugin. Likewise, as soon as we get this validated, all of the traffic will go through the live peer network. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. I understand the screen's really small, but here's a diagram if any of you can read it. And if you have any questions, I'm going to release all this stuff in a short time, and you can read it, or I'll answer any questions now.
Awesome. I think a lot of interest and a lot of questions that are popping up. One question from Joe: could you use this to reduce the different instruments of source music, i.e., muting guitar or bass, etc., for playing along?
The base model is capable of this, but it's not like I haven't focused on it because it's not an inherently real-time activity. Like you could just go use the base model to remove an instrument, but it's called it's one of the tasks, and they call it Lego. No, rather they call it extract. So it's like source separation, but it's really good and text promptable. It's just not like something that you would mess with in real time.
Makes a lot of sense. And another one from Define here saying the end game, I imagine, is to talk to the app and music changes according to your prompt.
I didn't list that as one of the things, but you can just prompt this. So, for example, you could just prompt violins and it will change everything to violins. It's like, let's see. Etc. I mess with the structure guidance, so it's all weird, but I promise it works. So the ultimate goal is is that a musician, like a creator, could use this because even writing music is inherently real time. It works not only for like performing, so maybe a DJ might use this or some sort of live performer, but also just any schmo in his bedroom with Cubase. So you can, let me see if this is working here. So you can draw these curves, theoretically. So this is the entire input song, and I can just like draw these curves. So this is like a new form of sheet music here. If that makes sense. So the ultimate goal is to let people write music with this, and by doing more than simply prompting the model.
So there's like an accessibility, a granularity that you can access if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it reintroduces craft for the pro, but for the also gives accessibility to make music real time to the beginner.
Right. Perfect way to put it. So one product surface might be a plugin for a VST where it's high level of granularity. Another product might be a phone app called Auto DJ, where you're having a party and everybody can like tweak it and make it more dubstep, like in real time, make it more dubstep or make it more Beach Boys. So there's just like a million different ways you could wire this up.
I love how polar opposite those two references were. Awesome. I think everyone is like super pumped from this just by. There's a question from Rick around when API. I think I saw that.
API when?
API when, yeah. Do you have an API I can use to do this fully AI generated stream?
Not yet, but an onboard MCP is definitely something that I have to ask Claude to do sometime soon. And so yeah, we'll expose it in every way possible. We'll also be releasing this code open source soon. You know, we're gonna like release this web app and see how it goes. But yeah.
Awesome. I think everyone is super excited for this, particularly the use cases are sort of very understandable. So I think everyone is supporting on this. Doug, do you want to?
Yeah, I was just going to chime in on that, like, understandable use cases point. Something I mentioned last week is obviously we have this big opportunity around being the infrastructure and the engine that powers the future of real-time AI video and media, and a lot of what we see on the video side is that just because the quality of the models are still very early, and the sort of the quality outputs that you get in real time might not be production quality for high quality produced content so far. A lot of the usage so far has been around like music and audio use cases, like visuals for concerts, audio visual combinations for live art installations and events, things where there's like tolerance for a little more creative output and stuff, but just a lot of interest around the music and audio space as well. And I think when you look at the state of the output of this model Ryan just showed and what's possible, it's actually like relatable and high quality today. People can create incredible sounding outputs that they want to consume and share today, and there's nothing actually blocking us. We're not like waiting for 6 months for the really high quality models to drop before this stuff can be used in much more scaled production context. And so that's exciting. Like, we're excited to get this in people's hands because there's no reason that it couldn't go viral and require hundreds, thousands of GPUs concurrently. If there's acceptance in the market. I think there's a lot of productization work to do to package up those interfaces and make them usable in the right tools before we get there, but the potential is really high, so really excited.
If anyone has any other questions about it, or you want to try it, just DM me, and we can hook it up.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. I think your DMs will be firing. I think so. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on. I know you have a hard stop. And would love more product updates as things move forward for sure.
Great, and thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome, thanks for the good work. Maybe Doug, just sort of one final question. I think kind of links to something else. In terms of the changes on the LivePin network that needs to happen to host all of this, do you foresee any greater change that needs to happen on the network level for to be able to be able to actually host this product on purely on the network?
Yep, good question. Relates to sort of the other topic I had as well. Generally, no, right? Like the really strong work that Ryan did is enabling this on the 5090s, the 4090s, hopefully the 3090s as well. I think we have a broad bevy of those across our current orchestrator base. So I don't think we will need any significant changes before this job type could be available relative to what we've supported in terms of other real-time AI, for instance, and live transcoding and whatnot as well. So that's sort of the good news. I do think the topic that I started a discussion around on the suggestions board was just, and I mentioned this in my product update as well, which is sort of highlighting that in this area or in this sort of new era where we have lots of different real-time AI job types on the network that are supporting different sort of productization hypothesis, go-to-market hypothesis, product market fit testing. The useful role of orchestrators shifts a little bit more from like just bringing dedicated hardware to scale up in support of a single job type forever. It sort of shifts away from that in the transcoding era to more like how can orchestrators flexibly provision GPU capacity or even like API pass-through capacity or cloud capacity to support these different go-to-market experiments that all have different requirements, right? So like running this 8-step model might require 4090 and optimizations to run multiple streams in parallel versus there might be another go-to-market experiment that requires like the high-end data center cards like the H100s, right? But it remains to be seen whether either of those are going to have fit and scale and actually require consistent dedicated hardware over a long period of time. And so it doesn't necessarily warrant like a huge upfront capital investment. And so I brought up this topic. I want to just start that discussion in the open. People can read through my roadmap post about it. And I think maybe next week we could all gather for a roadmap feedback session to brainstorm around how we sort of update both the software and the visibility tooling and our automated pricing tooling and stuff to make sure that this can work economically for our node operators. Staking UX so that everyone's rewarded accordingly. Lots of questions, things we can work through together. Just wanted to bring that topic up to the community to work on together.
Awesome. I'll drop it in the chat so people can go away and have a look, but we can sort of everyone can gather some thoughts on it. Thanks, Rick. Gather some thoughts, and then next week starting 18th of May, we'll have a feedback session on it. Obviously, TBD next week, but sounds good for timeline.
Yep. And thanks, Ryan.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Ryan. Alrighty. Doug, anything else that you wanted to add? All good to move forward?
Nothing on mine. I know we got a lot of topics to get through, so happy to press on.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for the update, Doug, and thanks, Ryan. I think he's made a move. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. I think next up was Steph. If you want to come up and give a quick narrative update. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Take it away.
Cool. Oh, you know what? Of course. I don't have the option to share my screen. Why don't I do this? I'm going to share, let me just share the stuff in the chat. I want to be mindful just of all of the various folks up for name and topic. So yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update from the narrative side. The big highlight on our end was last week we dropped the State of Live Peer Q1 2026 from Sari. And I think folks might have seen, or maybe if you didn't see on Twitter, we hit network all-time highs with AI driving 60% of fees, which is very exciting. And I'm going to drop a link to the X article as well. If you guys want to give it some love, you can kind of read through the pieces that we think matter most and we think are the most exciting about the future of the network. And just to echo what we saw from Ryan earlier, which I will say very hard act to follow on Watercooler, but then also echoing what Doug was mentioning here about flexibly provisioning GPUs. You can see, you can sort of see where we're looking ahead into the future based on where we were in Q1. So super exciting. And yeah, just like in the effort of being transparent about success of our marketing side work, we had 20,000 organic impressions last week as a result of the launch, which let me tell you, organic impressions are very hard to come by. So I'm happy that we were able to get as many as we did. And yeah, we had about 7 campaign posts that went out. The actual X article, which is linked there, carried about a third of the weekly reach, which is exactly what we wanted to do. We want to be able to point back to something that we own. An interesting little bump in new voice acquisition on Discord. Was slightly above our baseline. And LPT also experienced a slight elevation changes in the days after the report. So I'm not gonna shout this from the rooftop, but we just like to keep track of that kind of thing, because it means that at least the market is listening in some way. So you'll continue to see more of these charts from the report and various highlights continue to go out this week. And then you'll probably see them sprinkled in our ongoing narrative as well. And then the last quick thing I wanted to walk through, and really, I think you can just take a look at the slide I dropped into the chat. I just wanted to give a sort of like now, next, later view of the 4 product surfaces that narrative is touching, and mostly on our side that looks like working with Rick and the network engineering SPE, and focusing on UI and UX and how this engineering work links up or connects to user stories to affect the actions that we want people to take as a result of our marketing efforts. So I'll just leave those there, but yeah, and I'm not sure if Rick's going to give or if there's an engineering update somewhere in the long list of name and topics, but yeah, very happy to answer questions, but excited to just keep pushing ahead on everything on the narrative side as well.
Awesome, thanks so much, Steph. And yeah, I can safely say that there's a real direction that we now have across these services. So it's been awesome. For those of you who don't know, Steph's how long we've been in, 2 or 3 months, and already so much more structure across all of the different services that we have. So super exciting to see this have clear roadmaps across each. Any questions for Steph and around narrative? I'm going to presume silence is a good thing. No questions. Steph, any last words?
Yeah, I was just reading a DM from Rick about sharing the prototype for the dashboard. I just want to be mindful that we have a long list of name and topics. So Rich, what do you think here? I mean, happy to let's see, Adam's in the crowd, happy to pull him up, but also if we want to keep it focused, we can keep moving forward.
I think if you can keep it to 3 minutes, it's worth having a quick look.
Yeah.
I know
Let's do
there's
it.
a huge amount of work that's gone into it from Rick and Adam and yourself. So
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Adam, I'm gonna bring you up. And let's see. Hey, Adam, welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I think what I could do is just drop the deployment in the chat. People can take a look at it. It builds off of what Rick shared a few weeks ago. Just improves the UI UX of the prototype. So yeah, let me grab a link. Here it is. Cool. So yeah, feel free to browse the prototype. It's strictly front end, and we're going to be iterating on this quite a bit. But yeah, I think it looks pretty shiny, and we're pretty excited to to share like a really nice looking developer dashboard in the next few months. So yeah, I think we're aiming for like a June MVP, and yeah, we'll keep y'all up to date on progress there.
And maybe to give a bit more fidelity to what MVP means. So earlier today, myself, Adam, and Rick met to figure out what does MVP look like for June 30th deployment, right? Because obviously what we're looking at on this prototype is the full-fledged vision of what something could be, right? But we want to make sure that the engineering tracks that we're going to have scoped through the network engineering SPE align with the specific go-to-market milestones we want to hit toward this, quote-unquote 5-minute API. One of the things that we're trying to scope and figure out where this falls in that process is the ability for a developer to come and bring their own container and or bring their own capabilities to the network. So I think there's some sequencing there that we're figuring out what makes sense within, a Q2 or June 30th deployment, and then what kind of goes after that. Sorry. But yeah, so what you're looking at here is basically the full-fledged version, and excited to scope this into a place that we can hit June 30th and have something meaningful to bring to market. Yeah, I think that's it, Rich. I don't know if we want to leave it open for questions, or again, I'll kind of leave it to you for.
I was gonna throw that back at this moment. What's the CTA for everyone here? Is it is there a way of giving feedback? Is there a way of testing, or is it like this is a taste of what's to come? And
Yeah. I think that the next step here lies with Rick to tee up what the engineering tracks will look like, and then it's going to be that kind of that communication between the product story and the narrative side, and then what the engineering team is teeing up. So we had that kickoff call earlier today with Rick. So there's no specific call to action just yet, but. Yeah, just to give an update on where we are with everything.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the update. I know a huge amount of work is going into it at the minute, so excited to work towards that June 30th deadline and maybe have some community feedback in the coming weeks. Thank you everyone. Alrighty, let's move forward. We have a lot of people to get through. Who was next on that list? I think we had Define. Do you want to come up and give a quick update?
Amazing. Thank you very much, Rich. So today I would like to show you the first application that we created with the Weave runtime. The application that we want to do in the future as immediate next, and to give you some updates regarding the Weave operations. So I will start with the current application. Perfect. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the wrong screen. 1 second. Yep. So this one. So for the first application, we utilized the LLM pipelines, and we did an application that we believe will be useful to developers. It offers LLM APIs, it gives you some default credits, and to earn more of these credits, you have to complete useful missions. Missions are issues in GitHub that any repository can have, and they are registered in the database of the Askuno app. When someone completes them, they give them credits that they can use with the API. This is mostly usable from LLMs. It is live right now. I'm going to share the link with you. I'm going to showcase, so all the documentation is also here. And if you want to buy credits, you have also the option to do that, and it is now connected with X402. So I'm going to showcase this for you here. For this test, it is routed to the testnet, the Sepolia testnet. So you basically, yep. So I just got some extra credits. I can go to my dashboard, and yes, my balance has been increased. I can create an API key here. So this is the first application that the runtime created. We have some advertisement budget that the Weave incentives produce, and this will be deployed the latest by the start of the next week. We need some time for the 7 days for that to be unstuck. And I will also show you the conceptual application that we want to create as a second app. And I would like to hear your opinions about this. So the second applications are compute warrants, which are actually compute contracts that can be executed in the future. That means that I want to buy 10 hours of compute on an H100, but right now on the live network, I can only buy spot, right? And in most networks, that is true. But what if this was commoditized? What if you could actually trade it? What if you had easy access to that? And what if it was a live peer capability? So this is a primitive that combines decentralized finance and also combines the very foundational capability of library, which is compute. And how that can work is that, and this is all conceptual by the way, so it might be any kind of ERC specification. It doesn't have to be ERC20 or ERC721. So just stay in the practical, in what matters. So you have the buyer that pays an amount, let's say $100 for compute, and then you mint the contract. The orchestrator will receive for that future compute obligation 70% upfront, and the rest it can be redeemed at the time of the actualization of the contract. So then it enters the circulation. It cannot be immediately used. You can have, for example, a 1 year compute contract for 100 hours or NH100. And it can be without being used for that 1 year. The moment that you want to use it, the holder wants to use it, they will redeem it. They will go into the redemption and they will actually be able to utilize that compute. So why this capability? It is because right now there is an empty space into the market that we can cover. As you can see here, all these centralized and decentralized providers only provide short-term compute. This can be spot, but they can be very short duration future contracts. And the ones who provide long-term future compute contracts, they're actually either non-decentralized or they have other limitations, like it is not bearable asset. So if you buy, for example, in AWS, non-spot compute, futurely used compute, you will not be able to transfer it to another account, and you will have a lot of limitations if you want to do that. So even if it's peer asset. So this describes how it will be working. So you have tiers of compute. You are able to transfer it, and potentially in the future you are also able to use it for other things, including collateralization. And you are able to provide spot compute. You are able to provide reserved compute, which means non-fully exclusively system. You can, for example, buy 1 year compute from the orchestrators. There is no obligation to provide the full system, and then dedicated with can also have root access, and that is again up for discussion what the orchestrators are willing to provide, but it is an option. And you have tier of compute. So instead of offering 460, you can offer the VRAM equivalent, and the other specifications. And here is a suggestion on how to price it. Now, what this gives to the orchestrators? It gives them immediate liquidity, because it can be basically the most performing work at the time of payment, because you pay for future compute, so you have some immediate liquidity which you can utilize to increase your capex, which is the second very big advantage for orchestrators to unlock better capabilities and be able to buy more GPUs. And for the library, of course, it expands the market. It can allow a flywheel. It brings a mode that no other compute network has, and it expands the capabilities of Livewire to not be just a network that is used for on-spot real-time compute, which is very specialized. And so these are some ways to guarantee the deliverable. These are just ideas. You can avoid the over-collateralization, for example. But these are just some ideas of how this can be executed, with slashing, with the 70% upfront and 30% best. These are just some research we did on why this is a commodity, why this actually holds into the exceptions, on how they have been defined by the SFTC. And this is everything that the other providers offer and what the Weave compute contract can actually offer. So it can be the only one that is long-term. As you can see, some of them offer long-term, some others don't. Centralized, tokenized, bearer, probably the most important, and also dedicated, which is up for discussion. some statistics about the market, so it falls into the new cloud market.
I'm conscious of time, mate. Maybe like 30 seconds, is that right?
Yes, absolutely. It's the last slide. So this is about the market. So we fall as Livepeer into the category of new compute GPU market, which means commercially, not cluster GPUs. And 2 out of the 3 of the compute of this market is being used for AI inference. There are 0 products in the category, and we think it is a good opportunity for Livepeer. So pretty much this is for this conceptual product, and now some updates on the operations of DSP itself. For the go-to-market role, we will give 2 weeks extension for that role to make sure that we get a bigger pool of talent so that we can deploy the actually best talent for this position. We had about 30 applications so far. We continue with the advertisement operations for the Askuno app that you saw, and of course with better UI and more towards the improvement of the application. And yeah, pretty much that's it.
Awesome. Thanks for the update, Define. Any questions regarding Weave, Askuno? Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, I think very, very broad. What I would love to see personally is whether it's like just one dashboard or one screen where we can see what is new traffic that is being sent, that is being onboarded by Weave, that we can just visualize on one slide, one slide or one like real-time dashboard. That would maybe be an ask from my side, so we can keep referring back to it and see how the different applications are driving demand.
Absolutely. And this is part of the month-end deliverables, which will be signed off from my end this week. They're already done. I'm just reviewing them one more time so we can pass them to Rick for review. And yeah, I think the second showcase is, even if people don't understand it pretty much yet, because it's not a complete application yet, it's pretty important. If you think that this is a product that I can use, everyone in the network can use, Weave itself and its incentives can use. So there is an immediate pricing opportunity for Weave to buy some compute contracts and to incentivize the future comers of the protocol. So you guys talked a lot about gateway credits. So this is the actualization of gateway credits, but it helps the network more holistically, because the foundation needs 500 hours on 820s. We can mint these contracts, we can pay the orchestrators from the Weave incentives, and then we bring new people into the network, and we also help with the capex of orchestrators and with their liquidity needs. So you have buyers from the get-go, and we assume that more buyers will exist for this type of available capabilities.
Righty. Well, thank you for the update, and yeah, looking forward to seeing the overview and see where Schooner goes and various other applications built with Weave. Cool. Let's Mike, you said you didn't mind going last. Sean's just mentioned that he needs to go next, or he needs to go soon. If we don't mind, we'll come to Sean now and then come to you after.
Thank you for rephrasing. Oh, sorry. Is it okay? Am I okay?
I think so.
Okay, I was saying thank you for rephrasing to say, like, I would like to go soon, but I don't have to go next, but I'm happy to go next. Okay, I made notes so we can go fast. Yeah, super. I mean, I think a lot of what everyone is doing is really cool. Obviously, I've been in the background tinkering or building out some of our go-to-markets with some of the real-time products for a while. I think we're at a really interesting place now. So just kind of like high level, we've been working a lot on kind of this intersection of like event tech, music tech, and MarTech, like marketing tech, because they all overlap at the same intersection of events, experiential. And so essentially, I'll quickly try to show I don't have to leave. I won't do it. I will drop it in the chat. I will send you guys a link now, and you can. All I ask, please, because these are our Daydream credits. If you try it, I'll tell you how to try it, but please don't keep it running. And like, actually, if you can, there's a stop button in the top. So essentially, we have kind of like two verticals that we're really focused on right now. One is karaoke, which we already have this partnership with that we're rolling out and working on, like rolling out into some rooms. And then obviously music, which is like a big passion of mine. And I think some of you know I'm like a 20 years professional. I was like on Broadway and The Lion King, but I've also DJ'd at like Watergate and very underground clubs in Europe, and also been a writer, etc. So really an intersection of all of the arts. And so I see like the potential for AI when it actually is applied to enhance and complement existing craftsmanship rather than replacing. So basically, what I just shared is a demo for an event that we're working on. It's not 100% confirmed, but one of the events that is confirmed is on June 1st, which will be working and presenting our concepts in Palermo as part of like a really big music event. And yeah, one of the DJs, I won't say any names on the chat, but his highest ranking was number 12 on the DJ Mag 100, but he's also one of like the founders of techno. So really cool to be able to start being able to push this into new spaces where the AI can be a complement. So the one that I shared in the chat is just to kind of explain how we're working through frameworks, and that's essentially a demo for a festival. I think we'll know this week if it's happening, but it's really localized around like the history of the Istrian coast and this area. So you have like myths. There's like a live capture moment, but there's also abstract. There's also a remote, so this can be controlled from various places. And we're really working with composable concepts, something that I'm also trying to think about exploring a lot. It's not really audio reactive. I think that, you know, like I'll reserve my opinions about AI, music, and audio reactivity to another time. But essentially, when it comes to tempo reactive and being able to set that in the same way that you can in like Pioneer or some kind of existing software, is a very interesting add or addition to how you can incorporate music so that it isn't necessarily like a one-to-one match of what's going on, but it can be adjusted. So that's like a primitive that I'm really looking into. And another thing that we found that is really difficult is color bias right now, like just in terms of the recognition of a live capture. So I would say those are probably like the two biggest things that we're trying to work on and through, and as we sort of like bring this into market into different sectors of the entertainment industry. And then like I guess my ask or thoughts today, because I also am in this, you know, obviously Daydream has its own Discord and all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, the orchestrators of Live are the ones that are running the infrastructure for Daydream as well, so they are kind of interconnected. And I think I'm trying to be very cautious as we go to market and potentially expand to like big names or big events and things like this. How do we make sure that we have the resources and also on the network the kind of capacity that we need? And so one of those things is around inference. Maybe this can be in the chat or talk about it, but I think there is this like beta movement around live for inference versus run pod, things like this. And so I'm trying to work through them because obviously run pod, right? Like you can try to like make your version live and then it's just not, like there's no GPUs available. And these kind of things are not sustainable at production or especially in like high profile events like the one we'll do in Palermo. I think it will be running 5 hours continuously on like a landmark building. To really try to figure out how it can work closely with orchestrators or part of the teams to just make sure that like our inference needs are really sorted, if it's something that we can do together or if it really will need to be like offline to someone else or like a different service. Because I know that LivePeer also uses and integrates with a lot of third-party services. And then another piece is just like I'm looking for some advice on, I don't know if you test the Adriatic Mirror at all, but essentially that's running with browser API with SG Turbo, and I'm interested in some of the scope models. I don't think all of them are really great for our use case, but I'm interested in some of them, but I'm really having issues incorporating it and getting it back into the browser, like the web player. So I don't know if anyone here has like actually successfully done that where it's not on a local host, but you're actually in the cloud, maybe deployed already to Versal, and you're able to use the scope API to return video. But I've been trying for I think maybe 4 weeks now, and obviously I'm the founder, so like I should be doing more sales than coding, but I have to code a lot as well. But I think it was my time to kind of reach out and see if I can get some maybe assistance around that. And that's it. And so anyway, just really cool to see some of the work happening in the background, and I think we will, for at least real time, continue to leverage or try to leverage the LivePeer network and what we're building.
Awesome. Excited to see some new use cases definitely come through. Maybe I know Doug. Yeah, I think I see Doug typing on who you can reach out to Sean. It would be good to get you some support. So okay. But it sounds like we should follow up some scope technical support in the Daydream Discord. Yeah, Sean, have you reached out in the Daydream Discord? Have you managed to get
I am. I think the challenge is that there's so many moving pieces, and like, right, you have ink and you have like foundation, and people are like shifting and who's in charge and what's not, and like what's priority, and then we look at numbers that are coming through, like, which is very important to see, like, oh, look how much you know, like the summary report and things like this, right? But like a lot of these real world use cases take a little bit more time, so I think it's harder for them to feel like priority. And I don't want to be like I need support, right? But I'm literally I'm trying to, but I think it's just not enough for where like at the level of the people that we're able to bring in right now. Like I would love to just have a better understanding of like what's possible. The docs are not in great shape. Things don't break a lot. Like it's just very hard to move async in the way that Discord is set up for that, which is why I came here. So I do not have like a side chat with Sean talking about some of these things, but I think the challenge is also we're not right now every day running 24-hour streams. We're working with like major top of the industry people to help. No one wants to use AI necessarily yet, so we're really trying to like help frame the use cases and the narrative around like proactive and interesting enhancements of it. And we're not trying to integrate into existing products because, in my opinion, on most of the people that we're kind of like working with and go to market, if you need to go into a Touch Designer, a Resolume, a Unity, an Unreal Engine, it's already too expensive. It doesn't actually solve any problems that AI can provide to democratize. And so we're trying to be in this cloud-based version that actually is like the superpower of LivePeer, because that's like the decentralized cloud and like the ability for things to be cheaper and to have more access. And that is not exactly where things are, right? So it's like it's hard to get the support we need, and we don't have funding because we're bootstrapped here. We are raising now aside from this, but it's a lot of like, how do you say? I don't know. I just came here because I also am like, if there are people who are just experimenting with it that aren't on the engineering team that could also help in some way or have ideas around it, it would be really good. And also something that I'm thinking about, how can those documentations be made for people who are not even non-technical, right? But like the lower level of like serious senior engineers who can come into the network, understand what's going on and apply it, and then like produce applications or POCs or whatever. Because I think I fit in there where it's like I'm quite technical, but I'm really not tech. Like I was on the computer science, I was playing Simba on Broadway, right? So it's like how do we like get to that middle group that isn't also like I don't understand what VS Code is, or I don't know like how to basically call to an API, but this middle group that really does have some kind of technical understanding, but really gets lost in the middle. Because I've been lost in the middle for like 4 weeks trying to just like everything works with the scope integration on my local host, except for I can't get a video back. I can't, and it works on every version of every app that we've made because this framework from the Adriatic Mirror is like something that I've made that's composable. So like I know it works, and it's like a problem that I just can't solve, you know.
I'm sure we can find someone here who can help you solve that problem. Someone will at least be able to sit down and help you debug the code. I think Rick can maybe help triage and find that right person to enable you. So if it's support you're after, that's definitely something that we can try and find the right person. So maybe Rick is the right person here to support. But exciting to see the real world applications, and please do definitely if you do move ahead, obviously do a write up as you have done in the past. And I know that the documentation is going to be focused on over the next week or two. Awesome. I'll let you follow up with Rick. Any other questions for Sean and the new project? Yeah, it's a good point from Rick. They best get support from Doug or Marco on getting a strong SLA through these streaming based pipelines. I think definitely for this sort of level, it's always key to have an agreement in place and to ensure there's provisioning for at least the 5 hours when you have it. And you can obviously pay a premium on top of that to ensure that. But just making sure that there is some sort of agreement in place for that allotted time. I know that Marco's been doing some stuff. I don't think he's on the call, but maybe someone to reach out to. And Rick, maybe you can point him in the right direction to support. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's why I just came here so that it was in the public air, as they say.
Awesome. Yeah, Mike is definitely another person. Okay, maybe not another person.
I might be able to help troubleshoot what he's going through in terms of getting things to work in the browser, but I'm not really doing much on the streaming pipelines yet.
Understood.
I think a senior, someone like any, it's like as you imagine, like senior engineers are very expensive. This is part of the reason why I learned to code, and then also like you have to get the idea. It's like I just feel like if I could get 45 minutes with someone who would actually just like share a screen and look at the code with me, they would either know what's going on right or not. And then the other challenge is like there's this live peer inference, right? Which is like, okay, trying to get people to not use run pod, even like DeFine's thing right now about like GPU circulation, essentially, or not circulation, but it's like this idea of like how are you getting people onto the network to use the GPUs? And it's like, okay, that's a really interesting value prop. Super down to use that and try to leverage it, but like I don't know how to actually do that because in our use case,
I just time, and I think Rick.
Yeah, I can make one short comment on that. So,
Yeah.
for what Rich already said, for me, SLA, it's best to work, I think, with frameworks, with Daydream right now, with Blue Claw. For the network, we're really working on improving this developer interface and this developer experience. So that's improving the documentation, ensuring that there's a core SDK as an initial startup and people can use to run stuff on the Livepeer network, and things like what you saw in the other opportunities. As like a developer dashboard where people can discover what's on the network and get points to the right solution providers to offer SLAs. So one question, Son, I think this was more about the Daydream docs based on our meeting last week.
Yeah, but it's also about the Livepeer inference, because the inference, which is
that part we're working hard to improve the developer experience, as Steph stated, and we can keep the community updated on the bigger roadmap there.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, we had a great meeting. I'm thinking about, okay, I have this event in 2 weeks. Like, is there someone I can just talk to and like actually make sure that it is amazing? And that's okay. We can do that SLA. Maybe I'll try to ping Marco, or find an email from him as well, so that it doesn't get lost in Discord.
Yeah, I can help you with ensuring that you're connected with the right people here quickly. First of all, thanks again for being dedicated to build all these things on like the Livepeer network over all these years. And sure, yeah, please give us feedback on any of the hurdles you have run into with the main network, and always happy to help here.
Yeah, I'm in the EST time zone, so if you want to ping me tomorrow, I can probably spare a half hour, 45 minutes to look at what you got and how I can help.
Okay, yeah, that would be amazing. I will, of course, talk to both of you, but I appreciate it. I just thought, like, this, if I'm having these issues and I'm like this versed in the community and understanding, it's like the onboarding, like how can we make this part easier for people as they're coming into the network that want to build things? I think that's like something.
Yeah, very good call out, and that's one of the tracks that the last opportunities that we posted are on, and which Seth gave a little bit of introduction. So if you have any feedback on the docs or the website or anything else or the SDKs, please always send them our way.
Alrighty. I think let's move forward. Thanks a lot, Sean, and yeah, you've got plenty of folks here willing to help. I'm sure there will be someone from between Mike, Rick, Josh, and various other folks. Mike, I think you're up next, mate. Do you want to give a quick?
Last but not least, sure.
Actually, technically not last. I think we have Titan as well, who's slinked off into the audience.
All right. I mean, if Titan, do you want to go first? If not, I can jump right in.
You can go. I'm just hanging out.
Okay. Well, I mean, again, I think everyone knows, I've been working on Blue Claw and trying to get, OpenAI compatibility on the network so that, agents can be deployed leveraging Livepeer without having to deal with rate limits and getting banned and token usage. I think this is an area where Livepeer can shine. So, really, last month, April was really at the end of April, was to try to get, see if I can go after some onboarding of users. And I took on about 15 beta testers and started to have a bunch of problems and issues scaling, a bunch of, reporting metrics, like just a variety of things started to fall apart. So I ended up pausing the beta test, and I had to go back to the drawing board and come up with some improvements for, getting things in a more scalable approach for Livepeer. So this week we'll be onboarding some. We have a new version of our Blue Claw platform, and we'll be getting some more orchestrators on board. And I just wanted to make sure folks that have already been involved, there'll be an updated guide for a new onboarding approach. So we'll be doing, obviously, the chat completion stuff. We'll be doing audio to speech, speech to text. We have some image generation, but that's really low priority. And it's all geared around being able to get OpenClaw users on there. I see Merdad, I'll come to your question in a second, but so I did a lot of work on streamlining it and making it significantly easier for onboarding and bringing on new models and coming up with better pricing and being able to analyze the cost for these prices. So I'll be publishing a guide this week. A lot of folks have participated in the last round of onboarding, so I'll be going back into the Discord and sharing the onboarding guide and helping support folks get online. But I think we're at a point now where a lot of users are reaching out. They want to actually leverage and use this, this information, this technology. But I think if the reliability and scalability isn't going to go well, then we're going to have some problems. So, and Doug mentioned earlier, about being able to have these onboard custom workloads and getting things done so that we can dynamically onboard people. And I did some work on the service registry and how to make that a lot smoother. So I'm hoping when I release my onboarding guide this week and I start converting some of the existing orcs that have been helping out, like Fast Agents and Navigari, Pond, I think folks have been participating. We'll be onboarding those guys to the new version, and there should be significantly better metrics and usage information. And I've done a lot of work load testing it and scaling it and improving the selection algorithm. So there should be significant improvements coming up this week that I think will put me in a position to truly start with the real marketing, like really expanding beyond beta and launching it and actually trying to drive some significant demand. So, and I have a whole slew of OpenClaw templates that I've been building and working on that will allow people to just literally one click install and get their agents up and running and start using BlueClaw out the gate. So again, I don't have a lot to show right now, but I think, just making the announcement so folks that are following along in the Discord that we've been chatting in, just be prepared this week. We'll be getting a lot busier. So that's really it. Unless there's any questions from me, I'll be in the Discord.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that update, and thank you for the great work with BlueClaw. I've been following this very closely, and I think a lot of the things you have in your suite are really improvements that the network can learn on, what you can use to really onboard this more custom workflows. Do you have like the Discord that you're talking about for people that want to keep up to date?
Yeah, let me go grab that thread and post it out there for folks. Here you are.
And if you haven't checked out Mike's website, it was shared in the chat, I think. And I'm taking hosting over from Rich. We'll have to go for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so I'll definitely, I'm going to post it in the chat. Again, I think there's still a lot of questions. Things are still open. There's my OpenAI discussions chat there. I saw that Merdad was asking about some additional models like the Kimi K26. Again, this is an orchestrator thing, right? Like BlueClaw is a provider, and they're going to provide the API keys and the URIs so that folks can switch from Anthropic or OpenAI and log in and pay money to actually access the network. But the orchestrators under the covers are going to be the ones that are going to determine what models to run and what prices to offer on the network. And I think the more we can start to show the demand increases, the better off we're going to be when orcs are going to start to make this judgment on which models to run. And I think there's been a lot of improvements recently, especially around the Quen 3.6 model. But, I think there was a Minimax 2.7 model on the network. There's some other orcs like Fast Agents bringing on some bigger models. So I think keep an eye out, and if there's some demand and we start to see some significant increases on BlueClaw, I'll definitely be sharing the demand usage as it becomes more available. Again, that was one of the problems, was just not being able to measure and get the proper metrics from the gateways and from the orchestrators to show the data that is going to determine what models are hot. And I think we've solved that, and we should be providing a lot of the information. So just keep in that Discord, watch out for some updates from me, and we'll keep on pushing.
Thank you, Mike. And we keep looking for updates. And then we're off, I think, to you, Titan.
Jim, thank you so much. quick question, Mike. Is blueclaw.network your site?
Yes.
Okay, your Discord link at the bottom doesn't work, and the same with the GitHub. Just FYI.
Oh, on the footer of the site. Thank you.
Yeah. I think the first thing I clicked, I was like, oh, Discord. And I was like, invalid.
Still beta, baby. Always in beta.
Yeah, no worries. No, like GitHub, great. I'll go start it. Like, invalid. Oh, okay. There's 2 buttons I clicked. Anyway, just to give you a heads up.
Thank you.
Yeah, a quick update from me. Just been messing around with these live streaming AI agents and the product that was produced by Embody and Agent SBE, and yeah, it's coming up with product market fit where people are interested in the product, developers want to build on the product. These are all things that matter a lot. And Sarah was a product that I was building, and I built it on Pump.fun, and she was very fun and interesting. Obviously, Pump has fallen off a lot on viewership and interest. So she's that platform of meme trading has fallen off quite a bit. It could definitely come back, but it was an interesting place to kind of start. And then since then, we've got her launched on Retake.tv and some other projects that we're trying to do, strictly agentic streaming products. Again, not much traction, and the interest for people to communicate with these agents is highly dependent on kind of the platform or wherever they are. Lately, actually, Sarah's been getting a lot of followers and interest on Twitch, which has been interesting. So we're just kind of reopening up that avenue of how to monetize or how to bring interest into Twitch viewership, and what do people want to see? Do they want to see co-streaming agents? Do they want to see independent agents? Do they want to see integrations with OpenClaw and autonomous structures and stuff like this? So just trying to continue to explore and find out what people are interested in. And then lastly, obviously, been heavy into the OpenClaw worlds and the Hermes agents and the autonomous agent kind of side of things. And then how does the LivePeer network fit into that? Our unique positioning of AI media or video and deliverables of media. How does LivePeer have an aggressive edge on producing or providing some sort of compute to this agent world? It's moving so fast, and so I've just been spending a lot of time there. So it's been a lot of fun. Overall, I still think it's important that we figure out, keep experimenting aggressively and finding out that product market fit. So yeah, just wanted to just give that update, and going to be spending the next few months over the summer here just kind of locking down what thesis I've come up with, and we'll share it later. So yeah, that's a quick update from me.
Thank you, Titan, for the update. Where can people look to see your latest updates? Is that our Discord here? Is that the channel in the Discord to keep up to date? Your Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter probably is going to be my where I post stuff. Again, I've been pretty inactive for the last few months here. If anyone here has any children, when you have a 1 and a 4-year-old, life becomes impossible. So, just getting back into the swing of getting into work. So yeah, just follow me on X. I'll post in there, and I'll post in I'll just start posting again where I see fit and give updates. So, but this will be one of the channels as well. I'll pop in and the Watercoolers give updates.
We missed you, Titan. Glad to have you back, man. It's been a void here for a little while, so glad to see you back and kicking out here.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, thank you for having me, and yeah, it's great to see some faces again. So this is great.
Yeah, looking forward for everything that the update that you will give. So I had one short call out, one discussion point. If nobody else had discussion points, I think we went through all of them. So I had, let me give here. So from the foundation side, we're working on really enabling the community to enable multiple demands paths. That means that working with like solution providers to see what they need, and that's frameworks. Then Blueclaw as well, but Mike made solved a lot of those problems himself, and also working with the new SPE proposal for the developer SPE, what was live, which gives us funding to really work with the community to build opportunities they think are valuable. So we have a roadmap opportunities page. On there, I already did myself 2 opportunities, or in I think 2, yeah. So that's the Explorer opportunity. That's really adding like improving like the default data view on the Explorer to be more in line with what the network currently does. That's AI. There are other features in there once we came back from that opportunity session around like a way for an AI chat for delegates to ask their questions, some governance improvements, but you can read that in the RFP that we're planning to post. Thank you for everybody for participating in that opportunity. There was an opportunity as in the developer dashboards that we shared to help people understand what's available in the network and through the documentation get to the right solution providers or run their own payment providers. And I just added a new opportunity here which people can read on, which is focused on creating like a small abstraction pipeline SDK. There's also currently a small working prototype that I attached to this, where people can create a Python class to quickly create a bring your own container compatible pipeline. Meaning that is independent of the runtime, so that can eventually, the only thing it does is uses like the communication schemas that are needed on bring your own container to allow like an abstraction that people can use to easily create like a real-time container, batch container, LLM container, if they don't want to go like the fully API pass-through route. So you can read about that opportunity. There is a pull request linked to it as well, and I can share what is the current proposed to give a little bit more context about the current proposed, how it looks. Again, this is an opportunity session, so this is not set in stone. Let me share my screen. That will be this one. Can you see my screen very briefly?
Not yet.
Not yet. Am I the lucky one that cannot share their screens again?
It's loading. Let's see if it actually does load.
Okay, if it doesn't load, I will share a video in the chat. But this is an opportunity session I think we're hosting on Wednesday, which we really want to get like feedback from the community on if it's something that we want to enable. Again, this is an abstraction layer that creates a compatible container. It doesn't touch the runtime directly, and I know that, for example, the Daydream team have worked on the runtime a lot, and Mike as well. No, still no screen. Do people see a screen? One thumbs up.
Gonna get there, man.
Yes or no? I couldn't hear you.
No, it did not load. It's still spinning. In fact, it just failed.
No problem. This is fun Discord again on Ubuntu. Then there's no demo, but basically I will share like one quick in the chat, one quick example of how such an SDK would look, and everything else is done under the hood, so that people know what I'm at least talking about. Let me share another one for like a live SDK. And that's it. So if you are interested in that, join the session on Wednesday. I'm very looking forward to get your feedback on this to see if we can fund this from the developer SPE. And one call out there again, please update your opportunities so that we can discuss them. This allows you to get them on the developer SPE board, which can create RFPs or eventually retroactive funding to get this done. Great. Then I think we're done.
Post Python code in the chat, or are you going to share a video?
No, I don't have a video now, so I have to share.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping that my screen share just worked. This was just Python code, but I imagine that it's not telling a lot to people. Let me just remove it and let me share a video in the general chat so that people are aware what we're talking about. And
all right.
Thank you. Then, if there are no other questions for the people still on stage, Mike or Titan, then I think we can do the last item of the day, which Rich always does, and that's just a call out in the chat for people who you think deserve a call out this week that did something for the Livepeer network. Mike, do you have somebody in mind?
Always got people in mind. Fast agents for sure. Been definitely a helper in the BYOC stuff, bringing GPUs to the network. You as well, Rick. I think you've been, super supportive in helping everybody kind of bring their ideas from ideas in the brain to paper and to production. So continue to appreciate that. And I know people always in the background, Josh and John. Always working hard in the background, so always going to give shout outs to them. But that's pretty much it from me.
Great, thank you. Tyler, do you have people in mind? If people have in the chat, you can also do your shout out, and then we close off this Watercooler.
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to everyone here who made it to the end of the Watercooler and here during the bear days, and you're gonna flourish in the bull days. So yeah, just everyone who's keeping on. It's great.
Great, that's a good call out. Thank you, everyone. My last call out is for John, who worked tirelessly on the payment abstractions. I know he's currently working on getting a proposal forward there to really solve or help solve Livepeer's problem that people had a lot of complexities using crypto wallets. But he has been tirelessly working the last months on all these things and supporting other people as well. So thank you a lot, John. Great. No call-outs in the chat. Then I think we can close this Watercooler. Everybody, thanks so much for joining, and see you next week. If there are any questions, you can hop in the Discord.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week.